On September 4th, Trump's ICE team raided a Hyundai plant in the state of Georgia. And we're going to talk about the fallout from that and whether or not it was legal to begin with and what's going to happen. And Trump is basically shooting himself in the foot and harming investment in the United States and harming American jobs being created. I'm Shant Karnikian. That's Brian Kabateck. This is Civil Action on the Legal AF Network. If you like this content, remember to hit that subscribe button before we jump in. Brian, where do we start with this issue?
Well, I think the first thing to start with is let's just start with the overall theme in this episode, which is the right hand doesn't know what the left hand's doing. Yeah. And you can make all the jokes you want about that. But the truth is you've got a Trump administration who on the one hand is saying how important it is to have factories built in the United States, doing things that used to be done outside the United States. And this is exactly one example. It was a battery plant for electric vehicles that was being built outside of Savannah, Georgia. And I think, Sean, you have some statistics on the number of U.S. jobs that this plant would have provided.
Yeah, this would have created thousands of jobs for Americans. I understand that some of the people that they rounded up in this potentially illegal raid were not Americans, but we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that because they weren't going to work at the plant. They were, okay, but go on.
They were building, yeah, I know. Yeah, well, no, it was going to create thousands of jobs for Americans. It was one of the largest economic investments in the state of Georgia, in the history of the state of Georgia. It was going to create a real plant. It was a Hyundai manufacturing facility, thousands of jobs, long-lasting economic benefit for Americans. And credit to whoever in the administration or whatever part of the administration had facilitated that. But too late, too bad. Trump ruined that, apparently.
Right, because what then happened is this all starts with on September 2nd, a warrant being issued for apparently a handful of people that the administration believed that they wanted to get. So they showed up at the plant and obviously the warrant was a pretext, right? This was not really their intent ever to just pick up these 4 or 5 people.
Of course. Yeah.
Because they showed up, Shant, with ICE, Homeland Security, Georgia State Patrol, the FBI, the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Agency, and ATF.
Yep. As if this is like a foreign warlord or like a drug cartel that they're raiding, right? These are people building a factory. These are just people that have jobs. I understand they have a warrant, so that might render the initial showing up not illegal. But, you know, the DEA and having ATF involved, I mean, it's just a show of force. It
was just bodies. They just needed bodies because they rounded up 475 workers, the vast majority of which are South Koreans.
On business visas, by the way, with legitimate visas, giving them the right to be here, majority.
Right. So these people were, and this is important to understand about the immigration system, is that we do have specialized short-term visas for specialized workers. And most of these people were engineers and had special knowledge about building this specific type of plant. So I want to make this very clear, Sean. These people weren't taking jobs away from people in rural Georgia who were ultimately going to work at the factory. They were just building the factory. They were just getting it set up so that Americans could work at this factory.
Yeah. And I think the ramification of doing something like this is I think it'll chill foreign investment. It'll chill not just foreign investment, any kind of investment, even domestic investment. If an American company wants to build a plant and there's a possibility that the people that are going to be involved in building it are from another country, or they're going to employ people that are from another country, why are they going to risk all of that only to have them come get busted by the DEA, ATF, and ICE?
Well, that's exactly right.
And scares the shit out of companies. Why would they do it?
Like it appears that these people were doing things the right way. They had specialized visas. There's a B1 business visa. That allows people usually to stay for 6 months. But in this case, I guess most of these people were just here for 75 days. They probably had some crappy little room at one of these extended stay hotels. They had a hot plate in their room. They're going to their job. They're getting paid allegedly in Korea. They're not even getting paid here in the United States. And they're just doing this for a few months. It's like going on a business trip, right? I mean, how many people go out of the country on a business trip? Look, I just came back from South Korea. And I can report that South Koreans generally have had, up until very recently, say like January 20th, a very favorable opinion of the United States. And now they're protesting in front of the embassy in Seoul because of the tariffs. So on the one hand, you've got the tariffs, you've got the Trump administration saying, we want jobs here in the United States. This is going to be wonderful. We're going to build factories. There's going to be tons of jobs. Yeah. And then on the other hand, the very people building these factories are being rounded up and deported. They're not, you think any of these specialized workers are going to come back to the United States under any circumstance?
Or other companies are going to send specialized workers to as part of their process to spin up investment in the country. They're not going to do it. I mean, I don't know how doing something like this is America first. I don't know how the right or whoever on any side of the aisle defends this type of behavior, defends this type of action if they're interested in having economic prosperity and investment in America. I mean, this is a step backwards. And I think the blame lands, the buck stops with Donald Trump. This is the attitude he wants to foster. He wants to do things like this. He's just interested in headlines, but there's a price to pay for it. And
I believe
hurting American jobs is the price.
There's about 50 million people who live in South Korea.
Are you a North Korean spy?
I am not a North Korean spy. We're not going to talk about that.
Well, we'll talk about it. I don't believe you, but yeah.
I got a chance to see South Korea. I know plenty of people have been there. It's a very modern, especially Seoul, very modern first world country. There's a lot of investment there. There's a lot of money there. And now what's happened as a result of this is that South Koreans are at best mystified, at worst angry with the United States for this.
Can't blame them.
Now, what the administration in Washington, D.C. is doing is trying to repair relations. In the legal issue here is that they had no right to arrest these people. These people were here on specialized visas. To the extent that somebody wasn't here on a specialized visa, there was other ways they could have dealt with this. And this is what they chose to do instead. So this just shows you the Tom Holman based policies in going in, shoot first, ask questions later, right?
It's short-sighted, it's stupid, it harms Americans, it harms our economy. It's just not good. It harms our presence on the international stage. This is diplomatic crisis. This is bad politics. It's bad policy. But yeah, we'll keep up with this. We'll see if anything develops from it. We'll see how it resolves. If it's worth.
My final thought on this, Sean, is that in some respects, when people scratch their head, particularly MAGA people scratch their head about something like this and said, well, this could have been my job. I would have been able to have work there. This is what you voted for. Yeah. And it isn't just that you voted for a clear, mean-spirited policy with respect to immigration, but you also voted for a bunch of clumsy, kind of failed high school jocks. That's the best way I can describe them. And so, this stuff makes me real angry when you look at this. It was totally avoidable. They could have done this the right way, and they just chose not to.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep up with this issue. It's an interesting issue, and it's not the first time. It's not the last time that they have a big misstep like this. And, we'll cover the next one too. I'm Shant Karnikian. That's Brian Kabateck. This is Civil Action on the Legal AF Network. Hit that subscribe button so you can keep up with this content. Share your feedback, share your comments. We love hearing from you, and we'll see you on the next one.
Can't get your fill of Legal AF? Me neither. That's why we formed the Legal AF Substack. Every time we mention something in a hot take, whether it's a court filing or a oral argument, come over to the Substack. You'll find the court filing and the oral argument there, including a daily roundup that I do called, wait for it, Morning AF. What else? All the other contributors from Legal AF are there as well. We got some new reporting. We got interviews. We got ad-free versions of the podcast and hot takes. Where? Legal AF on Substack. Come over now to free subscribe.